Alright, so Marissa Barton. So before I begin my speech, I'm going to be sharing 2 facts about myself. So first, I have an older brother named Jacob who looks exactly like me. And second, I have a younger sister named Kayla who looks nothing like me. Now, one of those was a lie, and today I'm going to be sharing with you how to tell which one I lied about. So let's face it, all of us here have lied before, whether it was to get out of something that we didn't want to do or to get something that we wanted. We've all done it. Lying is seen as immoral, but we all do it. So why do we do it? There are a few motivating factors that lead us to lie, and today I'm going to be sharing those with you. So first I'm going to be speaking about why people lie. There are 2 main reasons as to why people lie. So number 1, according to Psychology Today, people lie because they want to be able to control a situation. Most people lie because they want to be able to control the outcome of an event, meaning the punishment or reward that they receive. An article titled "Why Do We Lie? A Practical Guide to the Dishonesty Literature" claims that people who think that they need to lie weigh the expected cost and punishments of the lie to see if it is worth it. And number 2, people lie to justify behavior. People also feel the need to justify something that they've done in the past or are going to do in the future. They also feel the need to explain themselves, explain their actions, and to have a valid reason for their behavior. Often this is a result of wanting to protect their moral self and their ego. Acting as if you have a reason to do something can actually alleviate discomfort and guilt, and lying can actually make you believe something that isn't true, allowing you to feel better about yourself. So now that we know why people lie, let's look at the characteristics of lying. When people lie, they often display certain characteristics regarding their facial expressions and body movements. So first, you should examine their eyes. When people are uncomfortable, they tend to move their eyes back and forth and don't make eye contact with the people in the room. They also tend to look to the right to allow better access to their imagination. In addition, people often close their eyes for long periods of time or blink often, according to an article titled "Reading Between the Lies, Identifying Concealed and Falsified Emotions in Universal Facial Expressions." And next, you should observe a person's facial expressions. Facial expressions are a dead giveaway when someone is lying because they are hard to control. When lying, people tend to blush more than they normally do. They tend to purse their lips, and they smile only with their lips, not with their eyes. Whenever you're trying to control your facial expressions, you have to be consciously aware of your emotions and trying to control those, so you're not really focused on your lie. In addition, you should watch a person's movements whenever you're talking to them. It is often a sign of a lie when someone touches their face a lot or draws themselves in to make themselves seem smaller. In addition, people also shake their head without even realizing that they are doing it. Body movements and language are nonverbal cues that can actually give away your emotions and how you feel in certain situations. So whenever you are talking to someone, you should be able to identify a lie by watching their movements. So now let's examine the other types of characteristics of lying. So when people lie, they often display certain qualities regarding their voice and their language. So number 1, people usually leave out sensory details whenever they are lying, or they change the details. So whenever you're not telling the truth, it's actually kind of hard to remember all the small details, so they would leave out the details that are in a true story, or that would normally be in a true story. On the other hand, if these details are included, then they would change slightly over time. For example, if someone lies about going to a party, they might change what song they said was playing in the background because they can't remember what they originally said. So next, when people lie, they usually talk slower because they are more focused on all the little things rather than the whole lie itself. Also, people talk at a slower pace because they're trying to be consistent in their lie. And lastly, people make unnecessary corrections and edits throughout their whole story whenever they are lying. They pretend like they're thinking really hard about the details so that it seems more real. So at the very beginning of my speech, I told you guys that I was lying about one of the 2 statements that I shared. I said that I have an older brother named Jacob who looks exactly like me, and a younger sister named Kayla who looks nothing like me. So I hope that from the information I gave you all today, by now you've concluded that I lied about the second statement and that I only have an older brother. Today I shared with you why people lie and how to tell if someone is lying. This includes the facial expressions, movements, voice, and language of those who lie. Thanks.
friend you have a question?
Which of the tailwind sounds like a lot do you think is easiest to notice?
Repeat the question.
He asked which of the